Yes, I know. I have the hot bat right now, but the hot bat commonly gets followed by slumps. So maybe I should stop making predictions while I'm ahead. Okay, whatever. In for a penny, in for a pound. I'll keep making predictions. So, assuming no big news, the Tesla will go at 300-ish today or tomorrow. That's still my prediction. Probably stay in the low 300s tomorrow if it does break 300. A lot of potential for profit taking, so I would not be surprised to see a blow off near the end on Wednesday, maybe even today. We'll talk more about why that might be true. So this is Randy Kirk. If you like this kind of content, you know what to do. I've got Jeff Lutz coming up later today, and I've also got Herbert Ong coming on later today. Both of them are going to talk about what's happening with the stock and what's happening with earnings and all that kind of jazz. And both of those interviews should be well worth hitting subscribe and notify. And then thanks again to all the folks that are now signing up for Patreon. Love to have a bunch more. I'm going to be shooting for 100. I'm sitting somewhere around 70 something. So 100 by the end of the month. Help me out. Let's get to 100. By the way, it's free right now. You can try it out for 7 days for nothing. All right, we'll dig into the realities of the cost of goods sold later today. We're going to be talking to Larry Goldberg after hours tomorrow. So right after the call, Larry Goldberg will be on to go through the numbers, go through the call. I think that's going to be really a good interview. All right, so helping the Tesla stock yesterday, Wells analyst Colin Langan raised his price target all the way to 265 from 170. That's a big increase, but still 25 points below where it ended yesterday. Anyway, he rates Tesla stock a hold. Baird analyst Ben Callow also raised his Tesla stock price target to 300. That was more brave. To go above where the market is now, and he rates the stock a buy. So those things couldn't have hurt yesterday. Earnings this morning coming out. Of course, we're now full on into earnings month. Some of the earnings coming out this morning, Bank of America and other banks reporting pretty good. Bank of America was up. 82% of all the reporting companies so far this month are reporting positive, beating estimates. That's extremely good news given the market circumstances they are now. I haven't seen anybody talking yet about what the guidance is coming out of these companies. So I'd be looking for that. Look for headlines dealing with what is the guidance coming out of the companies that have reported so far. How is that looking? The other side of the news thing, though, slightly negative news, is that retail sales only increased 0.2% last month, and the market was expecting 0.5%. So the Commerce Department said that gasoline prices were way down, and that was the biggest impact, which good. This is perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. Anyway, but the data for May was revised higher to show a 0.5 increase last month. Maybe these numbers are off this month, and it's not that bad. I think retail sales at 0.2% is not that bad. What I think also is, though, that the market now wants good news about the overall economy. As I mentioned the other day, my sense is we have switched the narrative on the overall market. Again, I think I'm the first to report this of anyone, not just in our Tesla community, not just among YouTubers. No, I'm talking about even the street. I have not seen anybody else as of the weekend. Nobody else has said, oh, there might be a narrative shift in the overall sense of where the market is, where the macro is. I'm feeling that I'm seeing evidence of actual data suggesting that there is a shift in thinking, that we've moved on past inflation and interest rates, and now we're looking back to the economy as the thing that's going to drive the market. But on Monday, people started saying the same thing that I had said over the weekend. Anyway, excluding automobiles, gasoline, and building materials and food services, retail sales increased 0.6% in June. So folks walking into regular retail stores, they're doing okay. And so that's all that kind of reporting. So the market started off a little down this morning, and then all of a sudden I noticed something. And I'm going back to this again Find somebody else reporting on this. Have you noticed that the Nasdaq reset, the Nasdaq rebalancing, there's no news on that reality? They were supposed to tell us on Friday which stocks were being rebalanced, what the percentages were going to be. This rebalancing is coming up Friday. The Nasdaq has still not put anything out. I looked just before I went on this morning. I looked under the Nasdaq.com site. I looked under the news about Nasdaq. They have still not released the rebalancing figures. So why do I think that this morning's market is all about the rebalancing? Oh, because the Nasdaq is down, the Dow is up, and all the major, the Amazon, the Google, Tesla, and Apple are all down. Those are the only ones I have on my list. Okay, but all four of those are down as the Dow goes up and the overall Nasdaq is down. So I'm thinking, but the Cathie Wood stocks are all slightly, not all, but most of them are up. So anyway, I think this is Nasdaq rebalancing fear again, and not fear, but anticipation. People starting to make some moves ahead of that rebalancing. We'll see later in the day. Maybe the news is out. I just couldn't find it. If you found anything on the Nasdaq rebalancing, please put it in the comments below. There's been a couple of hot news stories out there. Elizabeth Warren and her nutty claims about Tesla and Twitter. That is a total nothing burger. She's probably trying to raise money for her next election campaign. And anything that has Tesla or Elon Musk in the headline gets you lots of action. I know this. I do it every day. You will never find any of my headlines that don't have Tesla or Elon Musk in that headline, because I can't get traction. I can't get the algorithm over at YouTube or Google to pay attention unless those names are in the headline. Ford lowering the price of Lightning. I did cover that yesterday. Lots of people continuing to comment on Ford lowering the price. Well, they should comment on that. Ford is in a world of hurt. I thought Ford would do better. Everybody thought Ford would do better. So everybody's, I think, a little nervous. I think everybody expects Mary and General Motors to fail. Maybe they won't. Maybe Ford is the one. But I got to tell you, I continue to feel like Ford is really messing up and General Motors is messing up. In fact, all of the legacy automotive, the Mercedes and everybody else, they're not even putting a full suite of cameras in their cars yet. It makes no sense. So Ford lowering the price by $10,000, $6,000, depending on the model. Yeah, this is panic time. This is what do we have to do to move metal? I've been there. I've been a manufacturer in a competitive environment, and you're looking around, you're like, okay, what do I do? This would not be my move. My move would be to find a way to come up with a product that is compelling. Listen to Elon Musk, compelling product at a compelling price. Well, lowering your price to make your non-compelling product more compelling because it's so cheap, I don't think that's the smart move. All right. Tesla, like Apple years ago, tends to move higher into earnings. That's why we've been predicting all week that Tesla will get to 300, maybe even 310, in the course of the today and tomorrow as we run up to earnings. That's what Tesla does. But just like Apple used to do, they used to sit there during the earnings call and go crazy as Steve Jobs was saying all these amazing things that Apple was doing and the after hours, it's going down. And I'm like, what in the world? Well, Apple acts exactly the same way, almost always during the call. Sometimes we'll get a slight bump in the after hours right after the earnings come out. And then the call, it just goes, well, it's not always that way. Sometimes it's up and down, but it is fun to watch. I listen to the call and I have the after hours there and I'm watching the stock go up and down based on what's being said. That's kind of a fun thing to do. Anyway, but this idea that the stock goes down in the after hours and the next day, that can also become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I've already seen comments on Twitter with people planning to sell tomorrow, based on the fact that they think it'll be down on Thursday. So this can become one of those technical deals where everybody thinks it's going to do it, so it doesn't. Anyway, I do expect that to continue. Now, what could Tesla do tomorrow that might change that trend? Well, first of all, if they hit my 96 cents a share, I'm pretty sure the market would go up, even if there was bad guidance or dumb statements. I think the 96 cents would be pretty significant. I mean, there could be some really bad guidance, but that's very, very unlikely. So, but if the stock is under 80 cents, I mean, if the earnings report is under 80 cents, and I've seen various numbers about the street number being 81, 80. I even saw somebody saying the street number was 79 today. So I think it has to fall below 80 or 79 to have that be the effect that would cause the stock to go down, because that's already built in. Everybody's already got that in their mind. We will almost certainly see a sell-off on Thursday if those are the numbers. If it's less than that, unless there's some huge announcement. Well, the market will be looking, here's what I think right now, especially retailers are going to be looking for clarity on 4680 production. I'm going to be looking for clarity on 4680 production. Mostly, I think the large institutions, they're probably not savvy enough to care about that, but the retail crowd, you and me, we all, I think we're queuing on that data point. We are disappointed in the current level of 4680 production. You might want to look at my video last night with Wang, where he talks about 4680 production, and he thinks that they're going to put up all of the lines right away. The other 4 lines are going to commission those. I guess they're up, but they haven't been commissioned yet. But those other lines are going to be commissioned. And even if they're only getting 2 gigawatt hours per quarter out of each line, they will now they'll put up the other line so that they're at least getting 10 gigawatt hours out of the 5 lines. Anyway, look at he does it so much better than me. Look at that interview from last night. I'll put a card. I'm of course focused on any information about Optimus. That could definitely move the market if it's super clear that the bot can do useful tasks and that there's a bunch of them at work in the factory right now. We are expecting a video from Elon. Elon promised a video. I confirmed that yesterday in my interview with Herbert Ong, which will be coming up later today. So if we see some useful tasks being performed and bots in the factory, I think that could definitely move the market. Now, that would also be true of any announcement with regard to FSD in terms of timing. Assuming no negative shocks, the stock almost always goes upward in the week after earnings. Almost, I think maybe 100% of the time has gone up after earnings the next couple of weeks. So I'm suggesting that we'll be heading towards 350 in the 30 days after this week. We should be moving towards 350 because we're going to have some significant catalysts during that 30 days, probably with regard to Mexico and Cybertruck in particular, but maybe with regard to FSD, maybe with regard to AI Day 3. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff that could happen in terms of catalysts. Again, watch my interview today with Herbert Ong later today, talking about what some of these catalysts are going to be. Everybody is anticipating a date for the Cybertruck handoff, and maybe some pricing on that will happen tomorrow. Maybe they will also give us the ribbon cutting date for Mexico tomorrow. Retail investors will definitely be disappointed if we don't get one or both of those numbers. So I'm sticking with my 300 by the end of the day tomorrow. On a side note, I'm recommending a new interview with Lex Friedman. You know, I sometimes recommend interviews. His interviews are amazing. It sounded as if he said he might have just done another interview with Elon. That would be amazing. Anyway, but maybe he was referring to a previous one. But this new interview is with Yuval Noah Harari. Among other things he said, he gave the first actual suggested regulation that I've heard regarding AI. I haven't heard Elon say, well, here's a regulation and here's a regulation that I'm recommending. So this was the first one, and it made total sense. So he said that no AI product should be allowed to impersonate a human. I highly recommend that interview. Pick it up. So I'm calling the market moving again this morning due to the Nasdaq rebalance. The Tesla is down right now was down. Let's take another quick look, as we always do. So Apple is still down 91 cents. Google is down $1.40. Amazon's down $1.98. The Nasdaq continues down, and the Nasdaq's down 54 with the Dow Jones up 150. I'm telling you, this is Nasdaq rebalance. The Cathie Wood stocks all continue to be slightly up, except for ARK itself, which is down 1 cent. Tesla down $1.98. It went down right away to this roughly $2 off, and it's kind of stuck there right now. So I'm still calling that's what's going on. And let's take one more last look here at the at the pre-market. I'm sorry, here we go. The cryptos are down a little, staying under 30,000. I think that's interesting. Again, I know nothing about cryptos. Please don't harass me. I know nothing about cryptos. I'm just reporting. The dollar continues to drift down. Gold is up strongly again. That's interesting. Oil is up fairly strongly this morning. I think that might be a bounce off of the 2 or 3 days that we had where it was going down. And bonds continue down. The bond market is one of the key performance indicators that I'm looking at that says the market is moved on past the inflation and the interest rate issue. All right, so if this was useful to you, please hit the like button. It's such a help to hit like. It's also a help to hit subscribe if, in fact, you are going to come back on a regular basis. If you hit subscribe and you don't come back, that's actually a negative. So just so you know, these are little technical pieces of information, but just so you know, you want to hit notify. I have the best lineup in town over the next 2 to 3 days with Herbert Ong and Brian Wang, and he'll be coming back over the weekend for sure. I've got, anyway, the list is long. You're going to want to see all of this content that's coming up. Buy the book, buy the book, buy the book. And of course, join Patreon. Unique, special content going up at Patreon. You're going to want to see it. And it's free right now for 7 days. All right. That's all I got for you right now. Let's go ahead and get this thing wrapped up and send it off to you. It's been great talking to you.